What's up, 49er faithful? Welcome back to another episode of the 49er Media Captain Show. How's it going, Jason?
Another good day, brother. How you doing, my man?
Doing well, man. Getting closer and closer to the draft. I am so excited.
Yeah.
Honestly, I haven't really been looking into the draft prospects as much this year, just because I haven't really had the time. And I'm like, you know what? It's not like we're getting all these guys anyways. I think I'd rather just do my kind of analyzing and, looking at the film after the guys kind of get drafted. But
So, with how many draft picks we have, do
mhm.
you think we take all of them?
Nope,
And
I think we're going to trade up.
okay, so how many do you think we're actually going to draft? If we make trades and everything, how many do you think we're going to end up?
7 to 8.
All right, I had 7. Is what my guess was.
Yeah, I would be very shocked if they did what they did. What was it, 2 years ago, where they just didn't trade a single pick?
Yeah, there's just too many, and there's not enough room on this roster to take all of them.
Yeah.
Is the way I see it. So you might as well use some of them to move up and draft players that you actually need and want, rather than just waste it on someone you're just going to cut at this point.
Yeah, because, other teams are going to have interest in those guys, too. It's not like you're going to be able to put them on your practice squad then because of that. So, yeah, I definitely agree. They should definitely move around in this draft, which I think you kind of want them to move around, but you also don't really need to a lot of times. I think in this draft, especially because that offensive line position is very deep, especially the tackle spot. If you're moving up for a guard, maybe, because I think that's kind of maybe one of the lighter positions. But it's kind of interesting that they also decided to go with defensive tackle like in free agency, because this class feels like it's also good for defensive tackle.
Hey, Sweat's value might be dropping now. You see what happened to him over the weekend?
Yeah.
With DUI. So, and he's one guy I would love to have. I think I prefer Byron Murphy over him.
Mm-hmm.
But, man, Devontae, he's what, 6'4", 360 pounds? That is just a large human being to be able to. What about center? What if we took someone like, we had for Jackson out of Oregon, or maybe even Zach Frazier? Yep, or Zach Frazier out of West Virginia. I wouldn't be against drafting one of those guys and then even kicking Brendel out, maybe.
Yeah, the thing is, I've also heard people say, like a guy like Graham Barden out of Duke, who is my favorite offensive lineman in terms of like the inside, because I don't think he could play tackle, to be honest. And I've heard people saying he could play center, which he did in college, but it wasn't that much. So I think he would be kind of maybe better guard, and then maybe you go draft a guy that can be kind of that guard center, because what's up with Nick Zakel, right? I think bringing some competition with him, and then they definitely, I think, need to go after a couple of tackles, because Jalen Moore just hasn't worked out. I'd be very shocked to see if he's on this team.
I don't think he's going to make it to opening day.
Yeah, what's up, CarCast?
What's up, my brother?
But before we kind of get into the draft stuff, I thought we might finally get a day where we don't have to talk about news. But of course, the Niners are like, oh,
by the way,
so the Niners signed tight end Eric Sherbert, a former Atlanta Falcon in 2017, out of Drake. What do you think of that?
Like I told you before when we were talking in the green room, I think we've replaced Dwelley and Warner with different versions of Dwelley and Warner. I still don't see Cameron Latu doing much with this unless he just has like an amazing camp. I still, just even seeing him come out of college, I didn't see it out of him, honestly. I still think Braden Willis is going to end up being the number 2 behind George. And then I think, especially if in the later rounds, is one of those top tier tight ends dropped like the 3rd or 4th or something like that. I could see us kind of picking up one. And this tight end class, low key, is kind of deep. Like, you're not going to get probably stars, but I think you've got really solid tight ends that go pretty deep in this draft.
Yeah, like there's the guy I know a lot of people have been talking about, like Ben Sinnott from Kansas State, Theo Johnson from. I don't think it's as deep as last year's because I mean, dude, that was like you had
That was a
10,
crazy
11
draft.
tight ends where I think
Yeah.
that was very deep. But yeah, no, I think there's definitely some options there. But we'll see what ends up happening, at the tight end position. I've been saying I think Latu could take that second year step, but I mean, who knows? Maybe we'll see.
Just the third round pick on him, I never understood. There's so many other positions that we could have used, and it doesn't help his case that he got hurt, is out for the entire season.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's where a lot of people's dislike of him come from in general. That's not, I mean, to me, I just thought that was bad luck. I don't think that says anything about him overall, but I know a lot of people are taking him getting hurt. It's just compounded the fact that, we didn't like the pick. Oh, now he's going to be injury prone, which, it's just one time he got hurt. So when that moved.
Yeah, and I mean, because he's injured, like, even though he may not be on the field, because again, Cant Shanahan really doesn't play rookies, but just the fact that if he was healthy, like, he could still work on stuff in practice. And, now it's like he had to spend the whole year rehabbing, and so he isn't able to work on trying to be a better pass catcher. And so now he basically is all back to step one, phase one, where he has to prove that. So
it's like Kinlaw all over again, where you spend the entire offseason just rehabbing versus actually getting better at your craft.
Yeah. But I think the guy that they signed, Eric Schobert, I think he seems more of a blocking guy, which makes a lot of sense because, they obviously had an interest in that Lions tight end Brock Wright, who I thought, he's probably a better pass catcher than a guy like Schobert, but I think he was a good blocker too. So I think, like you were saying too, I think this is like a Charlie Warner type of replacement.
Yeah. And anything that we can do to get Kittle the ball more without sacrificing protection for Brock. I wouldn't even care if, like, in the second round we took like the best blocking tight end in the draft. And again, keep that way we can, use that person's block, and then we can release George and do all that kind of stuff, because what we're paying George all this money, and he's the sixth lineman at this point.
I mean, that's what you did with Charlie Warner too, right? When you drafted him, you basically took the best blocking tight end because you're like a guy like, I think it's Levine Toilolo, who was on this team, and he was known as a blocking tight end. And then, they go out and get Charlie Warner. And so, yeah, it's so weird with this team too, because it's like, all right, they got George Kittle in the 5th round, yet they haven't figured out tight end 2.
Yep. We've been searching for it the entire time.
Yeah. So that's going to be interesting. But today, we're going to go over the draft picks that the 49ers have made in this regime. We'll go fairly fast since we're going to try to get through basically every single year. So I do have up. So start with 2017. I mean, I think we both can agree with this one. Solomon Thomas. This was their first pick in this regime. I mean, you had Mahomes available. You had Deshaun Watson.
So many. So we went with, and it didn't help that with Solomon Thomas, he played outside and we put him inside. That did not, or excuse me, he played inside and we put him outside. It didn't help him at all. I think even the little bit of time I've seen him play defensive tackle for the Jets and with the Raiders, they have him inside, and he just seems he's not great by any means, but he's more effective overall playing from the inside position rather than being outside.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, he definitely has the build of like the defensive tackle. I feel like kind of similar to Kinlaw in a little bit, some ways, but yeah, what are you grading this pick?
I think I'd go with D. I don't think I'd give it a complete F simply because, kind of like with Armstead for the better part of his career, we just used him incorrectly.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't great, didn't expect him to be great kind of a thing, but it doesn't help when you don't use him in the correct situation.
Yeah, no, I agree with that grade too. Like, he wasn't, at least he was on the field. It wasn't like they missed on the pick because of an injury or something. It's like didn't really have those issues. So yeah. The next pick, Reuben Foster. I mean, this one is kind of the total opposite, where it wasn't the player, like in terms of his play on the field. Yes, he had some injuries, but the biggest thing was off the field, because he always had those issues every single offseason, to where they were just like, all right, we got to move on. We can't have a guy like this, in the locker room.
Probably had the talent to be just as good as Fred Warner, just as good as like Patrick Willis, Greenlaw, Navarro Bowman. You know what I mean? All those guys, talent wise, he might have actually been better than all. But he just couldn't figure out himself off the field. Off the field, he was just, I don't want to call him necessarily a terrible person, but he definitely didn't surround himself with the right people.
Yeah.
I guess he's playing in the UFL right now.
Yep. What are you giving that one? F?
Yeah, give that one an F, just because it didn't. He floated around. A couple other teams gave him a try, and he just couldn't even get it together then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Next up, the next pick was Akella Witherspoon.
Say a C.
Yeah, I'm giving this one honestly a C. And the thing is, like, the biggest thing was he played quite a bit of games. It was just, I remember one specific game where he just had a bad play, and then mentally it just totally got to him. And then since that, like, he just went downhill. And so I think it was it was a good pick, honestly. It was just mentally maybe a little bit of a look at when, like, scouting him. But, I think
he's kind of like a lot of his mental aspect reminds me a lot of Jalen Ramsey, to where if things were going well, when Jalen Ramsey is on point, arguably the best quarterback in the league. Mm-hmm. The problem is if he goes down just a little bit, they don't know how to recover and bring themselves back up. And that's one of those positions where you've got to be able to, okay, they got burned. I need to get back on. I need to get back on the horse and get my stuff back. Get back mentally. And neither of those guys, it takes them a while. If you can get them a break, they're done. But until they break, they're really good.
Yeah, no, definitely. And that's even something kind of with wide receivers too at times, where it's just like, again, because it's such a matchup like position, right? Where if you get burnt or beat, it's just for some reason it messes with you completely. And
look at
it's
kickers.
Very hard to, even kickers are a great position. Thing. And I don't think Jake Moody was like, I think it was just maybe some of those rookie kind of flares, because at times he still showed like as the season kind of went on.
He didn't have the volume of kicks because we were scoring so many points. So besides field goals, what was he doing?
Or extra points,
except extra points. He wasn't actually kicking a lot of field goals for majority of the season. When you're scoring 35, 40 points every game, it's like, why trot him out there? When we're, like I said, you have to have time out there on the field to, get some of those rookie things out, get that rust off of you, get used to playing in the NFL. And we really didn't give him a whole lot of a chance to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think also it'll be interesting with the new kickoff rules and stuff, how the kickers kind of adjust to that. But alrighty, next up, CJ Beathard.
I was high on CJ Beathard. Again, I've watched a lot of Iowa football, so I'm like, all right, good. He's got a good rocket arm, can get the spread the field down a lot. Didn't work out in the NFL. But it's probably the saving grace for this franchise in general with who we got because of it. Thank you, CJ Beathard, for being the comp pick that gets us Brock Purdy.
Yep.
So it's do I give it the good grade because of what it turned into, or do you just go by just him?
Yeah, I mean, if I'm just, I guess we'll go by just him. Like, what would you?
C minus D.
Yeah, I'd say C minus, and it's just, it was like weird too, where like because I think we all expected them to go quarterback, even though they had that Kirk Cousin fashion and whatever. Like, I think that if it was like, all right, they went one of these bigger quarterbacks and they went him, I'd be totally giving him a higher grade because I'm just like, all right, at least the other guy, turned out, and I'm just like, all right, clearly this guy was supposed to be a backup. So
Yeah.
yeah,
And he is a backup. I mean, his
yeah.
ceiling right now is showing he's a backup in the NFL. So
I mean, this guy, I think we can talk about real fast. Joe Williams, I'm giving that an F.
yeah,
He told you don't draft me,
I don't want
yet
to play football.
you drafted.
It's just I don't understand why you would do that with in anything. Hey, I don't want to like when we talk about this podcast together. Hey, you want to do this podcast together? No. Okay, well, I'm still going to set you up to come do this every Tuesday. Or every Monday. Guess what's going to happen? It's going to fail.
Yeah, and it's not like where all right he was injured and he had some injury history and you drafted guys because we all know the Niners have done that in the past and they've gotten better with that. But he told you, I don't want to play football. Do not draft me. Yet they did. So,
No
all
means no, people.
right, this guy I don't think we even need to go over him that pretty much at all. We can both shout it out. George Kittle, A.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, again, go back to CJ Beathard. We went to scout CJ Beathard as our quarterback, and then that's when we discovered George Kittle. So, I mean, that's you can almost say that CJ Beathard has led us to two of our better players right now. But yeah, easy A.
Yeah, I mean, blocking tight end, one of the top tight ends in the league. Great yak guy, even if we haven't been using him as much. Yeah. All right, next one, Trent Taylor.
He was C plus. I thought while he played with us,
Yeah.
he was that really good third down, shifty wide receiver. That Edelman type of a role he filled pretty good. So I give him a C plus on that.
Yeah, C plus. And I remember him having a connection with Garoppolo. And I think it was like that Tennessee game where the Niners kind of come back, and I think it might have been a game-winning field goal. I literally remember, I'm pretty sure Trent Taylor, excuse me, being a really kind of clutch guy and big part of why
Almost
we
like
won that game.
he was like the clutch guy before Juwan Jennings and before Kendrick Bourne.
Oh, yeah.
Like that role.
Yeah. All right. Next up, DJ Jones.
C plus. C plus, B minus. Especially if we had kept him, I think it'd be a lot higher.
I'm giving it a B though, minus, because the thing is, the reason we couldn't keep him is because of how well he was, even though he was a rotational player.
Yeah.
Even though he didn't have the crazy pass rush, he at times showed it. And again, he was such a late round pick, so I'm fine with that. And was a good rotational guy, even in the run defense. So honestly, I think I really liked that pick. Next up is you probably know how to say his name better, but it's like Pita Tamapunu.
I don't even remember the name, to be honest with you.
He's an outside linebacker from Utah.
I don't even remember him. That's how much I can say for him.
I can put his name. I think he was more of a linebacker, but yeah.
Oh, Menipu.
Menipu. Yeah.
So here's this. Oh, that's Colbert. 4 starts in 11 games. Yeah, like I said, he doesn't. It's not even bringing back anything.
What's up,
What's up,
David?
David McNiner? How's it going, my brother? It's not even ringing a bell. That's how far down
Yeah,
he
no.
was.
Honestly, I'm gonna just say NA because, like,
Yeah, probably. It just doesn't ring anything.
yeah. Next up, Adrian Colbert.
I'm gonna give him a solid C. He actually played for quite a little while.
Agree.
Never really blossomed into much more than like a good rotational kind of guy. I want to say he started for a little while too, for a few people when people were all injured. So I mean, I give him a C on that.
Yeah, no, and I mean he's a late round pick, and so yeah. All right, next up. Oh man, this one I think might be where we have some maybe lower grades, except for one guy. And the first guy is Mike McGlinchey.
I'm gonna give Michael Lynch a B plus. I think he has deficiencies when it comes to pass blocking. That's well known. But he was such an elite. I don't think people give him credit for how good of an actual run blocker he was. So he fit this team perfectly because of how good of a run blocker he was. The problem was just the pass blocking was atrocious, which is probably the reason why we have George Kittle as our sixth offensive lineman for most plays. But I give him a B plus just because, like I said, running when it comes to run blocking, he was easily one of the top 5 in the league for run blocking.
Yeah, I'd give him a B minus, and you have a really good point. Is I think people just kind of overshadowed it, and always, everybody likes to talk so much about the negative things a player does, and not the positive things a player does. And in that case, he's such a good run blocker.
Yeah.
And I mean, I get he was a top 10 pick, and it's like you would think he should be basically your right tackle for 10 plus years, but that just wasn't the case. But again, we were always kind of that running team. I really think with Brock Purdy, that's where we've started passing a lot more anyways. So, yeah. All right, next up, Dante Pettis.
D minus.
Yeah, D minus. Similar thing with like Akello in terms of the mentals, but just never even worked out.
I'd give him an F if it wasn't for that one Halloween game where he went off.
Mm-hmm.
And that one Halloween game, he had the walk-off touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
You could see the talent was there. I hate that the fact that his best game ever came against us on opening day with the Bears. I mean, so we get rid of him, and in the first game he plays the next season, he looks amazing. But then he hasn't done much otherwise. So I give him a D minus on him.
Yeah, no, same. It's just he didn't really work out. He had one game that he was pretty good, but yeah. All right, this one we'll say like at the same time. Fred Warner, A plus 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 plus. All pro, still on the team, leading linebacker. Yep, captain.
Best linebacker in the game. Everything.
Father.
Anything you want to say good about him, he's done it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I know even me, I've said some things about Fred where it's like, Fred does over tackle a lot of times. But when it comes down to it, he's just so damn good.
Yeah. No, I think he's going to have like a bounce back year this year because, we all know Steve Wilkes just they changed up a lot. And
yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. Alrighty, next up, Tarvarius Moore.
What's it again? Or
Tarvarius, yeah.
D plus, C minus.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. I mean, he was a depth guy. I think was this the guy that they were trying to see if he could be a starter too. I remember.
Yep.
But I mean,
just didn't have if I remember, he didn't have that speed to keep up with that. Like he couldn't turn his hips fast enough
Yeah.
when wide receivers
Yeah.
were breaking on routes.
But he did have that interception against Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl.
And he did.
But yeah, no, that definitely. Next up, Contavious Street.
C+.
Wow, I'm going like D-.
I thought he was a pretty good rotational guy. Like I didn't think he had a high end, like maybe start anywhere.
Yeah.
But I thought he was a pretty good, like a notch below DJ Jones when it came to like being a rotational player.
Yeah, I mean, he was okay to me, but all right. Yeah. Next up, DJ Reed.
For some reason, I want to rank him lower than what he acted. Like I feel like he did a lot, but for some reason, I can't remember why we kept him around. It's like with that, it's like okay, I know the name, but did he actually do anything for him? Like I feel like he had a couple of good plays here and there, but overall, C minus.
Yeah. You know, I love him because he's been one of the really good corners now, but I'm giving it a D just the fact because of how they tried to use it. They thought that he could be a nickel cornerback when he has had now success like on the outside and just didn't really try him there. And so to me, I'm just like, why'd you even make the pick? It didn't seem like you even tried it to play him outside. And you basically gave him up and you let Seattle have him. And then, now he's on the Jets. So,
Yeah.
Marcel Harris.
Let's see. D minus.
Yeah. Really, I can't even think of anything that was like interesting. The only thing is I remember is we were trying to convert him into a linebacker. That's about it.
I do remember him being pretty stocky.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Julian Taylor, defensive tackle.
Better once he got to Seattle.
I don't. He was on Seattle.
Didn't he end up going to Seattle and end up playing for a couple of years for them? I see somebody else out there.
I thought he played. I know for like the Colts. I want to say.
Let's see. What's his career?
Apparently, it just says he played for the Niners, but I'm pretty sure he.
Also, okay, maybe I'm thinking of somebody else. I could have swore he played. Maybe it was somebody else. Maybe it was a linebacker. They went from us. He was okay with us. They went to Seattle. He really got good.
Can't think of any linebacker.
Marcel Harris was yoked. It shows him, if you look him up on NFL.com, at least it shows him in a Vikings jersey.
Yeah. But I thought he was someone on some other teams. All right, anyways, Richie James.
No.
I was so high on this guy because I remember like in preseason, he was looking really good. And I was like, okay.
He was fast. He was really fast.
Yeah. And I thought he could be something, but nope.
He's one of the reasons why we should just get rid of number 10 around here.
Yeah. What are you grading that one?
D plus.
I'm between like a C minus and D.
I remember there was times where he should have shot, like he had a chance to shine, but it's those big screw ups were just too big. They just overshadowed anything else that he did.
Mm-hmm. All right, next up, I'm gonna go 2 players here because I think again this is a guy we can both shout out. Nick Bosa and Deebo Samuel. A
plus and A plus plus.
Yep.
You got our big sack guy, and then we got our wide receiver, wide back. offensive weapon, whatever you want to call him. So yeah, A+ easy on these two guys.
All right, next up is, you might have been wondering why I put him as the thumbnail, but I just had to. It's Jalen Hurd.
I've never seen anybody get so many chances coming back. And who's had worse luck when it comes to getting hurt, really injured? Him or Jason Verrett?
Verrett.
Because at least with Verrett, we knew when he was healthy, he was probably going to be a top 3 or 5 DB in the league.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for Hurd, we just never got to see anything.
Actually, yeah, I take that back. I think Hurd, because it's like it was a way smaller sample, and he just kept getting hurt. Man, I wish he panned out. I don't know what I could give that grade, though.
He was just crazy.
I don't know what I could give that grade, though, because I don't know if he had medical issues in Tennessee or Baylor or anything, or it's just for some reason when he came to us.
I don't remember that. Yeah, just the worst luck of all time.
You know what? I'm giving it a B because I think it was a good pick. It's just the injuries, man.
Draft-wise, I don't think it was the worst. So, he was a little unknown. It was a little bit of a reach, but it wasn't the worst thing that we've ever done.
Yeah.
It didn't turn out physically. So I'll give him a C. Okay. Even though the overall thing was it's obviously an F because we couldn't keep him.
I'm giving him a B minus C. But alrighty, next guys, we're doing this in pair 2. Mitch Wishnowsky and Dre Greenlaw. A
and A for both of them.
Money Mitch and Dre Greenlaw.
Yep. Especially with Dre Greenlaw. Came out with not a whole lot of fanfare or anything coming out of Arkansas, and he's turned himself into an easily a top 10 linebacker, probably pushing top 5 to be up there with Fred.
And this draft, it was like the 5th round was good, and then after that, it was just random picks where none of these guys worked out. Caden Smith, Justin School, Tim Harris, F.
Yeah, pretty much F's across the board for those ones, especially with Caden Smith. I don't remember him doing anything. I remember
he didn't even make the roster.
Was he cut before that first?
I don't know if it was the first one, but I know he was cut and did not make the final roster.
Because I know School and Harris hung around for a while.
I literally remember analysts even saying that the Niners might have gotten a steal in Tim Harris because they were saying they had a 4th or 5th round grade on him, some of these analysts, and he was picked in the 7th. But yet, nothing happened. So. But alrighty. Next up, Javon Kinlaw.
C-. We shouldn't have picked him with the injury issues. Being our first pick, we should never have picked him.
Yeah.
But again, kind of like with Hurd, Jason Verrett, you never really got to see him get better at the position just because he was always hurt. If you wanted to try and reach for someone, trying to replace Defoe and all that stuff, I'm okay with that. I just don't think he was necessarily the right choice to pick at that selection. Was it 14, 13, something like that?
Yeah, so we had the 13th pick, and then we traded down a spot, and then the Bucs took Tristan Wirfs, and then we took him.
But if we had picked a healthy defensive lineman, even one that maybe not necessarily was a star, but someone who could have been, a solid foundation piece for at least 5 or 6 years, I think we would have been fine. What up, Jess? How's it going?
Jess from East Coast Red and Gold Podcast. Long time no see. I think Kinlaw, I would give it a C too, because look at what he did this year, right?
When he actually had a chance to practice playing football. There was a noticeable jump in his play.
Of all the devices, appreciate that, David. But yeah, I think I agree with that one. All right, next up, I think this one we can also both say at the same time. Pay
And
the man A.
yeah,
Brandon Ayuk.
no B, but definitely an A for BA.
Yes, sir. All right. Next up, Colton McKivitz.
B.
I
I don't
agree.
think. I think he's playing a little bit above. Well, it sucks that he has to go against other teams' best, the best defensive end
Yeah.
every play of every game. And he's always going to be that. He's
Mhm.
playing a little out. I shouldn't say a little out of position. He was never played right guard or right tackle before, and it just sucks. I do think if we had help from somebody else on the interior offensive line,
Mhm.
he would get better. But someone always has to be the weakest point on your offensive line. And him being out there going against the other team's best, when you got literally the best on the other side in Trent Williams, you get the short end of the stick. And to be honest, I don't think he is as bad as everybody says he is.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean he's great either.
And I mean, he got better as the season went on this year. In his
Yeah.
first year starting, I'm also giving you with that. And the thing is, this whole draft, you had 5 picks, and I think you literally, beside Kinlaw, you hit pretty much on all of them. 4 out of the 5, that's great. I mean, I
I
also
think
think with like McKivitz, I mean, yeah, I think you're right. If you can have another right guard, it's like able to do, well. And I think, a lot of people have been talking about this recently. If they can upgrade at center, that would be great. Because this is what I love to call the center of the offensive line is he's the quarterback of the offensive line to me. Because he's going out there and calling the protections, helping some of these other guys you have on the offensive line and the quarterback. And so you need a guy that does that well. And if you can get an upgrade there, like I think that would help some of that issues that you have at the right, side of the offensive line.
I think if Colton McKivitz was our 6th offensive lineman, which they kind of paid him as this year,
Yeah.
I think that would be kind of like with Justin.
School?
No. Brunskill. Brunskill's best position was being our 6th offensive lineman. If you have that level of guys, your 6th offensive lineman, to come in that can pretty much play across the board or anything like that,
Yeah.
I think that's his best role. And if he's our 6th offensive lineman, and we throw a bunch of draft picks and we go up to get one of the better rookies coming up in this draft, I think that's the sweet spot for where he would be.
Yeah. I definitely agree with that one. Charlie Warner.
I go to B.
Yeah, I mean, you know what he was going to be coming out of the draft. I even said this earlier, best blocking tight end, it seemed like in that draft. So you knew what you were getting from him. So
Well, and like we talked about earlier, I think we talked about in the green room. If you had to bring back Warner or Dwelly, who would you bring back?
Warner.
Exactly. So
because Dwelly's just been back here, and it's like, what have I seen that's different? Nothing.
Yeah.
So.
Again, you get one catch a year from him that's amazing, and then he disappears. At least with Warner, it's steady across the board with solid blocking that we get.
Mm-hmm. All right, this one again, where we can just say it at the same time. 3rd and Jawan, A+++.
Yeah, A. Another very late round draft pick.
And the thing is, they were saying, he's slow, like he doesn't separate well, and he's worked out.
That's okay.
Well. Yeah,
he's still blocking from the Super Bowl.
Yep. Oh man, I am not looking forward to talking about this next one. 2021 Trey Lance.
Can we just put NA on that?
Yeah.
The whole situation was FUBAR. From the way we used him, keeping Jimmy, him having first the thumb injury, then breaking his leg. It's just, and then with the Cabo clique saying that they wanted Jimmy, and the whole situation from the get was mishandled.
Yep.
Even the way he was, the little bit that we did get to see him play, I don't think we didn't play him in a way that was helping him develop. So I understand if like people want to say F just because it's Trey Lance. I get it. But I think the whole situation, we don't really know.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I can agree with that. All right, next up, Aaron Banks.
E plus, A, been a decent starter since he's been around. Took him, his rookie year to get his feet underneath him for the most part, but played pretty solid for the most part since.
Yep. Alrighty. Next up is I think Aaron Banks. Yeah, was good. I'm giving it an A. Alrighty. Trey Sermon.
Is he even in the league right now?
I think so.
I won't lie, for the third round picks that we take from this draft or from this one, and then in the next years, I was pretty hyped on. I liked the idea of Trey Sermon.
I did too.
His running game coming out of Ohio State with that offense. I'm like, you know what? All right, we got a trade thing going on. That could be a nice basis for going forward with this offense. I can see it. Grade wise, F.
Yeah, I loved this pick at the time too, but I'm really giving it an F too. And the thing is, a guy like Tyrion Davis-Price, they made the exact same mistake in taking the same type of running back.
Yep.
It's not so much that they took a running back in the third round. It's just the type of running back that they've been taking in those third rounds do not work out because they're not scheme fits.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're
like
if you're more of a power like scheme, you're still mostly a zone running scheme. You got to go after more of those zone running guys and give them the time to develop. So, yeah. Ambry Thomas.
Another tough one. Not quite the mental issues that we had talked about earlier with someone like a Witherspoon kind of a thing, but I'm going to say C, because there was a point, especially a couple seasons ago, down the stretch and even into the playoffs, we thought we might have found our number one DB going forward.
Yeah.
He played damn well. It's just that for the next season, I'm not sure what happened during the offseason, during training camp, or it's just the fact that Demo got that much better from his progression than everybody else. But I'll say C. I don't think he should be a starter. But if you're telling me he's our fourth quarterback kind of a situation, I wouldn't be upset with it.
Yeah, I'm giving it a C too because he's played some good games, had some bad games, but again, he's not a starter. And I think the biggest thing is Demo, right? He got to play in college because Ambry Thomas actually took the year off because of the pandemic.
Yep.
And so I think that also ended up hurting him. Alrighty, next up, Jalen Moore. I'm giving this a D.
F.
DF, yeah.
I don't think he makes it through training camp.
I don't think so too.
By then.
Yep. All right, Diamador Lenore.
A.
Yeah. I would have given this a B, but like way earlier. But I'm just like, yeah, no, man. He's clearly your second corner.
Our starting cornerbacks is a top 5 starting duo in the league. And if you had told me that, because if you had told me that's how it would have been coming out of college, at least, that it would have been Ward and Ambry, I would have believed that instantly with how good Ambry was coming out of college. I probably wouldn't have believed you if you told me that it was Diameter.
Yeah. Man. Yeah, but we're gonna have to look at corners for sure because Traverse Ward we don't have too much longer. So
both of them are free agents next year.
Yeah, and Lenore, what's gonna happen with them? All right. Next up, Hufanga.
Because of the injury, A-. We didn't get to see him take that next step in development overall, but solid A at the very, very least. but
Yeah,
the injury
I
probably
agree.
brings it down.
I agree. A minus. All right, last one in this year's draft. Elijah Mitchell.
B plus. When he's played, he's been damn good. Given when
Yeah.
he's given the chance to carry the workload. Quite a bit of an injury issue, obviously. One of the reasons why we went out and got CMC. But yeah, great backup. I think he's going to be. I see him being traded, if not in training camp, come to the trade deadline this year.
I mean, yeah, if they're able to find a good, like if they do draft a guy and he's the second running back and they end up trading Mitchell, I could definitely see that
Third round,
happening. Yeah,
third round running back.
What did you give him a grade of again? B?
B.
Yeah, okay. Same. Yeah, I agree most on these. All right, next up, Drake Jackson. I'm going to say NA just because I think there's still a little bit of hope. But I don't know.
I was willing to understand that he faded down the stretch his rookie year because he had never played more than 11 games total in a season. He just got too winded. Coming in, you weren't quite ready as a rookie. You're still learning how to get your body ready. I was okay with that excuse. Now, I know he was injured this offseason or during the season this year, and he had some other stuff. But again, he came out just blazing. Had those 4 sacks in week 1.
3 or 4, yeah.
And then literally, I don't think I heard.
I guess that's.
And then after that, I don't think the next thing I heard anything news-wise about him was when you're like, oh, he's going on IR from an injury.
Mm-hmm.
What? So I'm going to say D- right now with him because, like I said, I'll give you the injury in your body wasn't ready because you didn't know how to get ready for it. Okay. But then kind of it almost seems like the exact same thing happened at the exact same time your second season. So
Okay, yeah, I guess that's fair. Yeah, I guess I would actually give him more of a grade. Yeah, D minus. All right, next up, kind of go through these pretty quick. I think now Tyrion Davis Price.
TDP again, pretty much.
I'm giving this guy a D, and the only reason is because he played more than Trey Sermon.
I give you that. But I think everything that we said about Trey Sermon and how that was handled with the wrong style of player, it's just copy paste with TDP. Again, I was going, oh, TDP? Hell yeah, he was an amazing back coming out of college. Had me stoked to get him, and then nothing.
Yeah. All right, Danny Gray.
F.
We're not even gonna have to talk about it. It's just hasn't done anything, hasn't made a leap. I think he gets cut.
Yep.
Spencer Burford.
C minus.
The thing is, this one's so hard because it's like he had that great rookie year and just dipped this last year. Like otherwise, I'd be giving him a B, but yeah, I have to give him a C minus.
I agree. I mean, maybe he can step it back up this year and see what happens. But for right now, I mean, we went out and got Feliciano because we lost confidence in him.
Yeah.
So unless he does something in this offseason to, get that back from him. But I mean, I see Feliciano starting at the very least to begin the season.
Yep. Alrighty. Let's see. Samuel Womack.
NA. I haven't seen much, to make a decision on him.
Okay. Nick Zakel.
NA. Again,
yeah, I'm going NA with both of those guys because
I know he's had his injury, but we still haven't seen yay or nay from him, kind of thing.
Yeah. Kalia Davis.
Same thing.
Yeah, I think
besides the very last pick of this draft, I think most of my answers are going to be the same.
Yeah, NA for that. Tariq Castro-Fields.
NA.
I mean, he's not even on the team though.
But did we give him?
No, they cut him. Like
during.
No,
we kind of had a stacked cornerback, or
I literally thought he was gonna make it too, because I know he didn't have a great camp, but I thought he'd be still on his team for depth,
Yeah,
and like with the things with Jason Verrett always fortunately getting hurt.
yeah.
I was kind of shocked, but yeah. All right, 3, 2, 1. Brock Purdy,
Hey,
A to um.
the extreme, whatever.
No, I
It's
was gonna
A to
say
infinity.
I was what's today? A to the sun, whatever thing that was going on. The
The
eclipse,
eclipse.
yeah.
Oh,
A to the eclipse.
yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've got
You
the
know,
receipt thing. I thought he'd be a pretty good college or pro quarterback. So
yeah. A to the. Alrighty, next up, I think this one probably will have a lot of NAs for sure. Jair Brown.
I'm gonna give him an A. Actually, I liked him in college or coming out of college. He's got that ball hawk mentality. We kind of
Yep.
saw it. I think he's going to actually, to me, I think he's going to fill more of the Deshaun Gibson role going in next season. And then depending on if Huff comes back, what we do drafting a safety, because I'm pretty sure, I think we all agree we're going to draft some sort of safety coming out of college of the draft this year at some point. Play some three safeties somewhere. I wouldn't mind seeing if we draft a rookie safety to start, and then we can almost let Hufanga play that like safety / linebacker hybrid role. I think he'd excel in it.
Yeah, and then you're also able to like at times put Jair Brown in the slot and stuff if you really wanted to. So yeah, I'm giving it. You remember how excited I was about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, A-. I definitely. All right, Jake Moody.
I'm gonna give him an A. I thought
Yeah.
some of the misses that he had were big. Yes, I get it, and we want to blame a lot of some of the losses on one field goal, but I think we're just nitpicking at that simply because of how high we took him.
Yeah.
So I think his draft value, because it's a kicker, number 99, third round. I think that's where a lot of that hate for the pick comes from. Not necessarily him, but they're just equating for that high of a draft pick, he can never miss in a 20-year career kind of a thing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna stay with that. Agree with that. Okay, I think these next guys, Cameron Latu, what are we giving him?
NA, no, he got hurt, so
NA. I think Darrell Luter Jr. NA.
Yep.
Robert Beal Jr. NA. D Winners Jalen Graham NA. Braden Willis.
We did get to see a little bit of him.
Yeah.
But even then, it's just so little. You really can't get a feel of it. You'd almost want to say NA on this one.
Yeah, because there's more special teams for some of these guys.
Not much focus on what he was really good at.
And then Ronnie Bell, what would you give him?
I'm going to give him a C+ because while there was some issues, especially with, his kick returns and stuff like that, there was some plays where you saw the reason why he could be something special.
Mm-hmm.
I actually think there's a good chance we take his running mate from Michigan, Roman Wilson, who's everything that Ronnie Bell is, but better in this draft.
I thought you were about to say the running back, and I was like,
No, but I like Roman Wilson. Like I said, if you really like Ronnie Bell as a wide receiver, Roman Wilson is everything Ronnie Bell is, but better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What up, Crazy Juice?
What's up, Crazy Juice? Alrighty, so that's gonna end it there with our kind of recap of future draft picks with the 49ers. I thought this would be kind of good to talk about because we're, getting closer thinking about picks. So now we're going to do a mock draft. I think this will just have to go quick because I do try to want to get to both since we're going to do an offensive and a defensive. So
So you want to do offense or defense?
We could just switch picks.
Okay.
We'll just do it like really fast. We'll do fast and then 7 rounds, 49ers. All right. rejecting all trades. For some reason, I swear this website does not like me picking. Reject. Oh, let me hold
You should
up.
just be able to X out of it.
Yeah, I don't know. It just freezes every time, though. All right. I will let you take this first pick. So there's quite a few guys up there.
So we're doing all offense, right? Or on this one?
Yeah, all offense.
Scroll down just a little bit. You know what? We had talked about how big of a deal having a really good center is, being the quarterback of your offensive line. Let's go ahead and take Jackson Powers Johnson.
Okay, I like that. Alrighty, so when I'm up, I have to take all offense. Reject. Okay, so offensively, I probably would technically maybe take the edge, but because we're going all offense, let's see. You know, I know they're probably not going to like this pick, but I think I would rather go with the guy that has the upside. So I'm going to go with Kieran Abajaji.
He's
Okay.
probably not I don't want to say flashy pick, but he does have a huge upside from the looks of it.
Yeah. Okay.
Are you able to take off the East Coast Red and Gold podcast thing?
Oh, yeah. Sorry. My bad.
All right. So we got offense. Let's scroll down a little bit more. I'm going to take the tackle where you took Abadage to be more of like the project. Probably has got the higher upside. I'm going to take Blake Fisher, who's more ready now, but may not have quite as an upside for his career.
Okay. Alrighty.
Well, we've definitely solidified the offensive line at this point.
Yep.
John LaJoy, what's up, my brother?
What's up, John? Oops. What's up, John? Alrighty. Reject. Okay. So now it's my turn. So what? All right. So damn. All offensive line. All right. Let's see.
I know where you're going.
I guess I don't want to go on a. Oof. All right. There's been a lot of talk about this, and I could still see it. We still, I think, would love to bring some competition in, and I know we signed a tight end today, but I am going Blake Sinott out of Kansas State.
Another solid pick.
Reject. Alrighty, you are up. Oof.
Right. Scroll down just a little bit more.
Your boy's there.
Yeah, I'm seeing if anybody else is there. I can't. Yeah, just give me Will Shipley.
Okay. Reject. Alrighty. So we already went offensive line. I mean, could definitely use a receiver. The thing is, I'm not gonna go like Brendan Rice because I honestly don't even see him being on the Niners as much as we want it to happen.
And he's all come out and said that he doesn't necessarily want to play with the Niners because he wants to be his own man, kind of a thing. And to be honest, I respect him saying that. Like, look, I don't want to go there because he's going to get a lot of flack if he isn't his dad instantly. Let's be honest with his fan base. You know that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So I can respect him saying that, like, hey, just don't draft me because I don't want to deal with all that.
All right. I was going to go receiver, but I absolutely love this pick to solidify even more interior depth. and I'm going to go with Mason McCormick from South Dakota State.
I've seen him climb up a lot of boards really quickly. So ever since his pro day.
Yeah. How many more picks do we even have? Check. 4 more. Okay. Let me know what
Scroll
position.
down.
Okay.
So go back up to the top. I'm going to take my boy. I thought he was there. Scroll down. I thought Vaki was on the board. Maybe I missed him. Pull up the safeties.
Well, we have to go offense, remember?
I know, but just trust me. There's a reason why in this. Okay, so Savani Vaki plays for Utah. He actually he is a safety, but last year he also started playing running back.
Mm-hmm.
So he doesn't have a whole lot of running back experience, but he's got very good explosiveness when it comes to being a running back. I also feel that with the new way kickoffs are going to be played, I believe he could be someone you could stick back there to play on the offense. So I know it says safety on there, but he does have a dual threat
Okay.
aspect to him. Look him up, man. Really good guy. He is I want to say he is the oldest player in the draft right now, and because that he lost his mom a while ago to cancer, and his mom was like, "Look, the one thing I want you to do is to go on your mission." People in that religion, Mormon, I believe, is what it is. They're big on going on their Mormon missions and all that kind of stuff. So he is the oldest person in the draft, but there's just something I can see with him playing with the new kickoff rules that he would fit that really well. And again, he could fill in for safety and running back. So it's a little weird. I get it.
All right, we'll go with him. All righty. Let's see. Oh, man.
Oh, there was one of the guys I was thinking of picking up next.
Yeah, same. All right, I mean, we could also use another tack. Well, let's see. We went, Could we go another tackle? I'm trying to think.
Can you ever have enough offensive linemen in the pipe?
I guess not. So I will go with. Is that the other tackle? I mean, let's see. Yeah, I guess I'll just go with Walter Rouse. Alrighty, 2 more picks.
All right. So pull up the centers. I want to see if there's a guy that's gone yet. Scroll down. He's probably gone. The center from Penn State.
Yeah. Because I think he was
What do we
there
have for wide receivers?
when I was like picking. Ooh, that's actually a good position we could go.
All right. The guys that I've seen so far, I have actually seen quite a bit of Isaiah Williams,
Mm-hmm.
but he's the only one that I recognize. I've also seen stuff on Jaquan Jackson and Cephas, but I do like what I've seen out of Isaiah Williams. Not that I've spent a whole lot of time on wide receivers.
So do we want to go with him then?
Yeah, let's go with Isaiah Williams.
Yeah, that's what I was noticing yesterday because I did like a mock draft with like Brian Culp and David McNiner. And like they were doing all like other teams, and then I was giving the Niners. And so literally like every time I wanted to go receiver, I realized I went way too late because just there's such a big drop off. But alrighty, last pick has to be an offensive player. You know what? I'm going to just go with the quarterback. Doesn't hurt to have another guy in camp. We all know Cant Shanahan loves to have 4 running backs. I'm just going to go with Sam Hartman, even though he probably will get picked and maybe be a backup. But So yeah.
I think we did the our obvious offensive line heavy draft.
Yep. I'll save this real quick. 1 second.
What up, Steve-O? How you doing, my brother?
What's up, Steve-O?
Do you guys see the fish in my fish tank swimming around?
Oh, hold up. I'm just gonna. I want to take a screenshot of these pics. I don't know how much you'll be able to see it though. All right. Now, real quick, we'll get to the defense. We'll just kind of. All right. Is there a way to restart?
I think you just got to click on it again.
All right, so now we're going all defense. Okay. All right, so all defense. Wow. Show alt going that late. Oh, damn it.
Oh, damn.
Okay, I will let you go first again this time.
All right. Scroll down just a little bit more. Yeah, if Robinson is there, gotta take the edge position. I know everybody's gonna hate that one. Yep, Darius Robinson.
Okay, yeah. Guys, remember, this is an all defensive draft now, so we're not gonna
don't take this one seriously.
Yeah. Honestly, don't take any of them seriously.
Yeah, true. We're not even anywhere close to our drafts to who we draft.
Yeah. It's just a thought we'd do something a little different. Okay, why is there?
Whoa, what the hell's going on in fucking Texas?
I would go Devondre Sweat, but just now with the stuff that's.
I mean, you could just knock it up to being young and stupid, but you would think that at this point, this close to the draft, he wouldn't be doing something crazy like that.
Yeah. But knowing John Lynch, if it was all defense, all right, you know what? We'll just take him.
We would take him. We honestly would. He showed up at that spot.
Okay.
All right. Do a little scrolling down. A little bit more. All right. I'm going to go ahead and pick the guy that TJ is absolutely in love with. Jaden Hicks, safety, out of Washington State.
Okay, that's a good pick. Yeah.
Isn't necessarily going to be the most complete best safety, but he hits probably the hardest hitter in this draft.
All right, I am going to go because oh, damn it. Did they just okay, no, there they are. I was like, did he just all right, what I was going to say is we definitely could use another corner, and so I'm just going to go with the best available. And Cam Hart out of Notre Dame
is going to be a damn good cornerback in the NFL. And Johnny, you are right. He is a massive man. Like I said, I think he's like 360 pounds is the last I saw.
He's big. All righty.
All right.
You are on the clock.
Scroll down. Pull up the linebackers, please.
Okay. Where's the linebackers? There they are.
All right. So I know a lot of people don't want us to get linebackers simply because, we do obviously got Fred, we've got Campbell. We're hoping Dre Greenlaw comes back to being his top self. And we do have two in the wings that we don't know much about. But the one linebacker I do love is Mars Leofau out of Notre Dame. He is probably going to be the best coverage linebacker to fill that Dre Greenlaw coverage linebacker position that is in the draft. So Maurice Leofau.
Okay. Me. Man, I don't like these. You know what? I'm just gonna go with Dwayne Carter because he's like a run block,
Yep,
running
yep.
defensive tackle.
He would have been my obvious choice of that one.
Because I didn't really want to
Definitely
go.
doesn't have the size like Sweat, but he can definitely plug up holes in the running game.
Mm-hmm. Checked. Okay.
All right, let's scroll down. Okay, and just like with for this one, scroll back up a little bit. Where do you go? Let's scroll down. Keep going. All right. Edefan Olafushio is the other guy I did my stuff on. Really good coverage guy as well. Probably more of just a rusher rather than
Okay.
the coverage linebacker, but definitely.
All right.
Johnny, we're doing just defense on this draft for this one.
Yeah. Changing it up a little bit. Alrighty, so let's see. 3 more picks. I mean, we pretty much filled up every single, spot, but I'm just gonna go with the corner, and I'm gonna go with Chaw Smith Wade.
All right.
This guy, I was watching some tape today. I actually liked him.
Cedric Johnson.
Yeah.
Let's go down a little bit more. I want to see if TJ Sky is there. No. So let's see. We've got cornerback, linebacker, DL, linebacker. Scroll up to what we've drafted so far.
I mean, we took an edge.
DL, safety, cornerback. You know what? We need a second safety on there. So let's go ahead and grab Bo Braid.
All right.
Jordan Jefferson.
My guy. Okay, no, I think you got off the board. Damn it. It's okay. Alrighty, last pick. So let's see. Is there anything else we could use? So you want safe? 2 corners, 2 safeties. Yeah. I'm gonna just I just want to kind of see if there's anyone I think could. No, I'm gonna just go with Logan Lee.
I was gonna say if you pick anyone off that Iowa defense, it's going to be good because that defense was just insane the last couple of years. Like their offense scores like 4 points a game, but their defense gives up like 3. I mean, and obviously that's a little bit of the exaggeration, but that defense in Iowa has carried that team for the past 2 or 3 years with just I think for the last 2 years they were like the worst ranked college offense in history. I mean, they were just absolutely terrible. Like they actually brought back the coach, and he had to fill certain requirements on the offensive side in order to continue to have a job. Like they're like, look, you need to score like 17 points a game because your defense is only giving up like 14. So you have to at least hit these metrics on the offensive side of the ball to keep your job. That's how bad it is.
Yeah. No, this was actually lots of fun. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope everybody else kind of enjoyed it. I thought instead of just going with the normal mock, like, why don't we just change it up a little bit and,
After doing about the 1,000th mock that everybody's done it, I'm sure everybody's done thousands and thousands of mock drafts. At this point, you've got to change it up.
All right, so yeah, I think next week we'll figure out, but then I think the week after, you and I should just do our own mock drafts, like
do full mocks of what we would be looking for.
Exactly. Since that
I'm
is
the
good.
one who hasn't. Look, man, I sit at work a lot and I just wait on people to call. And so I'm just like, what am I gonna do? Let me go do a mock draft.
I usually do more like I'll even post a couple but on Instagram and stuff, but
Yeah.
honestly it's kind of nice just taking it light and then being like, okay, I'm not gonna really obviously I have my infatuation with my school players, obviously, but like other than that, like
Every time you're like, look at this player from Arizona, and then look at this player from Arizona. I'm like, oh look, it's another one from Arizona. Hey, you know what? You do your thing like that. For me, it's all my Polynesian brothers. So everybody's got their thing.
I really think though, like go watch Michael Wiley, the running back.
Mhm.
I think you'd be impressed. Like,
I'll give him a look. And like I said, look up Maurice Leofau. I think he's going to be a really good coverage back in the NFL.
okay, yeah, I was definitely gonna go and look at it. Alrighty, guys, thank you for tuning on in, getting closer to the draft. So
Yep, a couple more weeks out.
appreciate for everyone for coming through.
Five for Ty, Telly Love, and one love, everybody. Make sure to like and
Peace.
sub on both the 49er Media channel and on the Niner Faithful Radio channel, please.
Yes, sir. Peace.
Hello.